Jeff Kennett is in the studio. Good morning to you, Mr. Kennett.
Good morning, Nick, and good morning to you, Justin.
Morning, Jeff.
Are you both well?
Very well, thank you. You're obviously a president of a football club. Mad Monday, there are allegations, and we must stress they are only allegations at this stage, against Angus Graham of Richmond, that he poured beer on a woman and slapped a woman. Allegations yet to be proven. Mad Monday. Should it be stopped by football clubs?
Isn't it sad, though, when we repeat allegations before it's proved up? It actually casts an impression. It can reflect very badly on the individual if the allegation doesn't prove up. I'd much rather have, I think, the proof before I comment on an incident.
Yeah,
but
we don't want to ask you of that.
But Mad Mondays, I actually think they're part of the past, to be quite honest.
If your team was out and about on a Monday night for this, how would you be sleeping the night before if you knew they were out?
I don't mind them doing it, but I think it's got to be in a fairly controlled environment, and you've got to look after one for the other, both player to player and some officials there. I will remember after the 2008 Grand Final, we had our team together that night. We had the big function on Sunday. We then flew to Tassie the next day, and our boys were just wonderful in the way they were turned out and how they presented themselves. But you have to be very aware of the culture, and you have to understand that as a footballer, sadly, if you walk down the street and you're known, you can be subjected to abuse, you can be subjected to discrimination, you can be subjected to attention which is often unwanted. And that can lead to a response.
No, it's not the public. It's not all the public's fault.
No,
here.
no.
Well, why has Mad Monday had its day? Why do we need to look at something
I think
else?
it's part of the past. I mean, the concept of getting together after a term, you finish school, a football match is, I think, fine. It's actually how you conduct yourself. And invariably these things, I think, because they are young men who have been so focused on getting fit and training, and in some cases don't make the 8 or do make the 8, it opens itself up to abuse, and if the players then, having had some drinks, etc., meet with the public, and they are put under pressure, of course things can happen. So the best thing is to isolate the team from the community and let them have a private celebration.
Now, I only know someone at Collingwood, so they've told me this. I mean, this could well happen at other clubs as well. But they say they've had their Mad Mondays previously by putting the players in a pub or in a function centre and having security guards with them,
yes,
and protect him that way. Have you done that way, and is that acceptable?
Yes, and we would even go to the extent of, if our players felt they're drunk, to provide them with cab charges or vehicles to get home. I think you've got to go to those sorts of measures, not only to protect the individual, but to protect there being any misunderstanding of what might happen.
So under those terms, Mad Monday is fine?
Yes, but in the old days, I think Mad Monday was the first Monday after the competition has ended. You all get down to a pub, you drink yourself stupid, and off you go. I don't think many players these days actually do drink themselves stupid. So I think the old concept of Mad Monday is gone. I think a lot of players are a lot more considerate to themselves. That's not to say they can't involve themselves in a celebration of the year.
96900 693. If you want to talk to Jeff, has Mad Monday had its day? I was reading Barry Hall's book during the week, and he said it's a good thing that there weren't phone cameras around back when he was going out, not specifically talking about Mad Monday, and the same media scrutiny that there is now. But now everyone walks around with a video camera and a still camera on their phone, and he said that he would have gotten a hell of a lot more strife had that have been the case back in his day.
I have spoken to a number of our more high-profile players. They actually are restricting going out. They are finding it so intrusive that to go out and have a meal or to go and do something else, you've become such public property. And what you're saying, Justin, is absolutely correct, that people are not only photographing you, they're then Twittering or Facebooking that photograph,
but
and it's a terrible intrusion.
Barry Hall was making the point, though, that he would have got...
I know, in more trouble than he is.
He used to get in more trouble, and it would have been on record.
I actually wrote Barry Hall a note when he retired, a couple of weeks ago, announced his retirement. The game needs characters, right? And Barry has been a wonderful character and a contributor to the game, and I think the game, as everyone must retire, but I think we'll miss him. But I understand exactly what he's saying. It is so difficult today. Even I, who's not a player, so many people come and say, "Can I have your photograph taken?" And I know Felicity is always very cautious. She says, "Don't put it on Facebook, etc., etc." You don't know what people are going to do with these photos these days.
But also, and Buddy Franklin, I think, has gone on the record saying there are pickles in pubs who 3 sheets to the wind, and not only do they want to take photos or get autographs or something innocent, but they actually want to go up and pick a fight with an AFL footballer. They want to be seen to be big and
some
tough.
Want to, but some girls go up, and when they make their advances, and they're quietly told and politely told, "No, thank you, I'm just here with my mate."
Sadly, madam, I must decline.
They continue, and that causes great difficulty for the player because they've been approached in a public place. And I think the players are unnecessarily putting themselves in tough positions when they now go out publicly, particularly at nightclubs, etc., even dining venues.
Brian joins us. Hi, Brian.
Hi, just to remind you that, say, 15, 20 years ago, I was talking to Kevin Bartlett about the grand final the other day in 1980. Mad Mondays, all the players went back to work, and so did the coaches. They had full-time jobs. The problem is the players are just overpaid. They are absolutely obscenely overpaid, and that's the problem. But it didn't exist years ago, Jeff, did it? Because they all had full-time jobs.
Yeah, not as we understand it today. That's not to say they didn't have a celebration. The other thing that's missing from the game today, in the on previous days, previous years, the players used to go into each other's rooms after the game and share a beer and, a bit of goodwill. You see, none of that today. It's all too clinical, it's too professional, it's too different.
We've got Dennis O'Kane has called in with some information on the Brownlow medal. Dennis O'Kane, state political reporter, go ahead.
Yes, surprise that the Brownlow will be remaining at Crown Casino for the next 6 years. There was a push from interstate, I understand, from Sydney to have the function move there. That's not to be, but when you think about it, it would be, and Jeff would know more about this than I, it would be physically and as far as cost is concerned, impossible to have such an event interstate, particularly in the grand final week because of the cost and so forth and the logistics.
It would be sacrilege.
Well, apart from that, Jeff, how could you afford it?
No. The logistics are wrong. The community is basically here, and given that you're leading up to grand final, I'm afraid someone up north has just been pulling our pud, mate.
Well, I think there's also...
Was that an official quote from the Hawthorn Football Club president?
Beautifully put, Jeff.
Well, I think we're being misled. Is that a better way of expressing it?
Thank you very much, Dennis O'Kane. Now, can I ask you, was this a ploy, do you think, by the AFL to try and get some more money out of the state government?
No idea, and I don't know if they have got money out of the state government. They shouldn't have. They really shouldn't have. This is an event that should be properly funded by the AFL. If the AFL was stupid enough to take it to Sydney for money or to Brisbane for money, well, then, as Dennis said, the cost of doing so to the clubs and everyone else would have been astronomical.